Hey, and welcome to Four Guys, a Girl, and a Show. With me always, I'm JQ, and with me is Mr. Brian Isaacs,
Hey, hey.
Dave Harriman,
How's it going?
Mr. Michael Hopkins,
Yo.
and Miss Stacy Rader.
Good evening.
Well, guys, we took a little week off last week just to observe the holidays, and so we're back now, right before New Year's, with our quote-unquote best of show of 2012. This is going to be a little bit different. We're going to go back to the roots of the round table and kind of go around the circle here, take turns talking about our favorite topics of the year in movies, comics, TV, and toys. And then we're going to surprise y'all at the end with a little flash forward of what we're looking forward to for 2013. So without further ado, also want to give a quick shout of condolences and a quick get well wishes to Peter David and his family. For those who don't know, Peter David suffered a stroke earlier in the week, and we wish him a speedy recovery here at the show. So guys, how was your holiday?
Uneventful.
Eventful,
Crazy.
yes. For those are the kids. Eventful is the word.
Don't look at me. Wrong religion. I spend my usual Jewish Christmas, movies, and Chinese food.
All right, how was yours, Stacy?
It was great. We just hung out with the family and spent the past few days going to the movies, and we also ate Chinese food on Christmas.
Dave, save any lives this holiday season?
Actually, this was my first Christmas off in 4 years, so I enjoyed it with family and friends.
All right. Well, let's start off with our first topic. Let's talk about movies of 2012. We're going to start off with Mr. Dave Harriman. David, let's talk about your favorite movie of 2012.
My favorite movie, not because it's most enjoyable, but because I thought it was a great story to bring to the screen, was The Dark Knight Returns. I think just from bringing that comic to the screen, animated-wise, was just DC's done something with that you don't see many other companies do, bringing a very dark comic that's not the most popular story out there in the world, but it has a great story to it, and staying true to the story as well, I thought was just a phenomenal job they did. I really enjoyed that.
See, I felt like they dropped the ball on that film. I mean, I didn't enjoy it as much as the previous two, but I did feel like it was a nice compliment to the entire trilogy, but I just don't feel like it was at the same level as the first two.
I think he's talking about the animated feature, Brian.
The animated, the Frank Miller story.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, we should be getting part two in by January, very soon.
Yeah, I agree, Dave. I mean, they took their time with it, it seems, and all the animation that DC does is on point when it comes to the Bat franchise, and to me, it came out of the comics very well. And there's some tweaks here and there, but like I said, switch to media is what you do. But I agree, it was definitely a nice home run in my opinion.
No, I got to agree with you guys on that one. Now that I'm on the right topic, the only thing I had an issue with is I still have in the back of my head the Legends of the Dark Knight episode from the Batman TV show. So as the movie's still going, I'm still hearing Michael Ironside instead of Peter Weller, and I'm not that Peter Weller didn't do a good job. It's just I got that stuck in my head the entire movie. But I did enjoy it a lot, and I can't wait for the next part.
Yeah, I agree.
Stacey, what about your favorite movie of 2012?
Oh, this was a hard one for me because I'm such a film geek, but I struggled, but I gotta go overall with Django Unchained. I'm a Quentin Tarantino fan from way back, and it was it was the complete package. It was a good story. The action was really good. It was violent. It had that signature Tarantino snappy dialogue. It was just the soundtrack was great. It was such a good movie. It was so enjoyable. It was over 2 hours long, but it did not feel that way at all, and I can't wait to see it again.
I got to ask Stacey, because Tarantino is definitely like the grown-up film student. Because when I saw trailers, I couldn't figure it out, but did it seem at all like one of the old spaghetti westerns?
It definitely has that vibe, and I think that's really where Tarantino is most comfortable, at least lately, in that sort of spaghetti western genre. It's not the first time he's done it. He did that with Kill Bill Volume 2. That was heavily influenced by spaghetti western. So yeah, it definitely has that vibe to it, and certainly harkens back to the 70s films that he loves so much too.
People are saying that that Jamie Foxx's performance really changed their mind about his acting chops. I didn't see it yet, but what'd you think about it?
I thought he was great. He did a really good job of being the hero. I mean, it's certainly not the first time he's done a more serious role, but can certainly see him in an action sort of serious role in the future. I think. But I think you have to give credit to Tarantino. It doesn't really matter who he picks for his films. He manages to draw a performance out of them that you wouldn't expect. And I certainly think he did that with Jamie Foxx. And one of my favorite parts of it was seeing Leonardo DiCaprio in a role that sort of is a little different. I mean, he's played a lot of different characters, but he's definitely a villain in this one, and he's really good. And certainly Christoph Waltz returning to the Tarantino universe is always welcome. So I wish he would I wish he could be in every movie ever, just because I love him. But I think he's definitely comfortable with Tarantino.
Is the Electro performance good? Because he's playing Electro in the next movie. I want to make sure he's that good.
I think he's better than Electro. I mean, I'm not trying to knock the character, but I think I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see him in that role, because I guess I think of him more as a Tarantino, almost a character more than an actor.
All right. Mike, Big Mike, what about you, man? What do you got for movies for you?
Magic Mike.
Come on now, really?
Seriously?
Wow.
No.
All of our listeners said, "Oh, turn it off now."
Big guy like yeah. I actually like The Amazing Spider-Man. I like the way the story played out. I like the way that Dennis Leary was one of my favorite characters in that movie as what's her name's father. I just thought he played the character well, and the whole concept of the movie was it was almost true to the story. It was definitely better than the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, because they made him Spider-Man, but it also brought in a lot of the Ultimate Spider-Mans into it. So it was definitely different, and I thought out of all the superhero movies, that was probably my favorite.
I have to admit, out of all the comic book movies that did come out this year, that I did really enjoy that as well the most too, especially... I mean, I'm not too sure if you guys know the backstory behind this, but this movie was pretty much a rush job because Sony was on the verge of losing the license to the Spider-Man films. So if they didn't pump out a movie, it would have gone back to Disney or Marvel, whatever. And but I remember seeing, all the, the sneak peek photos, and I was just like, wow, this really looks bad. And then I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I can't wait for the next one.
I agree. It definitely was a good change of pace. It just, to me, there were some parts of it I didn't like, but for the whole, I mean, the whole beginning with Gwen Stacy, it really, 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 really did do a better job than Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I love Garfield as Spider-Man. I cannot stand Tobey Maguire. I think he's creepy, and he's convincing to me as Spider-Man. I thought they missed the boat with that. I thought they should have made Topher Grace Spider-Man in that universe, because he would have been a better fit. But then they rectified it with Andrew Garfield, and I think Mark Webb did a really good job as a director. I think he I knew him from 500 Days of Summer, and this was a totally different movie, but I think he kind of injected a little bit of that sort of not just going straight comic book movie and maybe making it a little more accessible to people, as accessible as you can make a film about a guy who has spider-like abilities who's fighting a guy who's literally a lizard,
Well, and the other thing the only thing I didn't like about the movie was he didn't look quite geeky enough, if you know what I mean. Like, they made him look almost too normal of a kid. Yes. Whereas at least with Tobey Maguire, they gave him that. I mean, he looked geeky enough.
See, I have to disagree with you because it's just I thought he looked geeky. I thought he looked perfect. He looked like he looks like Ditko's original creation if he was done today. That's how I really felt he looked. Yeah, I felt like he had that loner, that friendless type vibe coming out. It's, I mean, as you stated before, a lot of it was pulled from the Ultimate Universe, and that Ultimate Peter Parker is a lot different than the one we're used to.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of see your point there. I just didn't think he was very geeky looking. And I think I just thought they could have done a little bit better job of making him look that way. But you kind of got it's the right concept. Yeah, I agree with you that, in this day and age, that's probably what is perceived as geeky.
Yeah, you're not the first person to say that either about him not being nerdy enough. I've heard that from a couple people. But for the most part, it played out very well. I mean, the web shooters, the whole 9 yards. Gwen Stacy being a love interest. I mean, it followed the recipe of what we know as Spider-Man a lot better.
Definitely.
All right. Well, I guess it's my turn. And for those of you who know me very well, this is no surprise here on what we're going to say here, but I'm picking The Dark Knight Rises. It was a trilogy ending, and to me, yes, there was lots and lots and lots and lots of plot holes. I understand that what people are saying, but I mean, if you're a Batman fan, you follow the mythos and you follow the way Nolan was telling the story. Yes, it was Nolan's graphic novel. If you read Elseworld stories, they're not canon to everything, and this was Nolan's graphic novel on a screen. And to me, it did a very good job. It was very well done. Besides Bale's Batman voice, it was a home run in my opinion. I'm a Batman fan. I'm biased about it, but still, in my opinion, it was a very well done movie. The trilogy itself put together. I mean, it was more. It came full circle. It was more about the man in the mask. It was the symbol of what Batman represented, and it came at the end when, spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. When Joseph Levitt was coming up on the platform, the Dark Knight was rising, and that's to me that was the culmination of what Nolan was trying to say, is that Batman is a symbol, not just a man. And cue Brian.
I mean, for me, I really racked my brain about the movies this year. Like Stacy, I'm a film geek myself. Unfortunately, due to some life changes this year, I haven't seen a lot of movies that I really wanted to see. I missed out on the Bond film, which is really irritating me. But I did get a chance. After narrowing things down and racking my brain, I have to go with Wes Anderson's Moonrise Kingdom. I'm a Wes Anderson fan. I thought this cute little film was great. Of course, he had his regulars. Jason Schwartzman was in it again. Bill Murray again. Both excellent in the roles. And first time acting with him was Ed Norton, and Norton, a chameleon when it comes to his acting ability, was just great. And I think the one who did the best had to be Bruce Willis. He was just great in this role. Something completely quirky for him. And I mean, I don't think he's done anything this quirky in a very, very long time. And it was just refreshing. It was great. It's it's Anderson. It's a little surreal. It's a little out there, but it's funny. It's got heart, and it does kind of look like he did do like a stage play that he filmed. But I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it had to be one of the best this year.
I totally agree, Brian. I loved that movie. I thought it was. I think you hit on something that I love about Wes Anderson is that he makes little movies, and that's not a knock against him. That's just he creates this tiny little universe, and the characters are all people that you wish that you knew, and the sets are all very lush and beautiful, and it's just like I would love to be inside his head because I think he sees the world in the way that I would like to see it. Everything's
Right.
well-colored and fun.
But the thing about not only they lush and the sets are just lush and vivid, but it's just like at the same time, it's just, and I come from a theater background, it's just, they're all also so simplistic. Like I said, it just looks like he's filming a stage play. And that's what I love about Anderson. It's just like, it doesn't always feel like a movie. It feels like I'm watching a theater show. So it's, I don't know, maybe that's why I like him so much.
I didn't see it, so I can't quote on it, but I saw the previews for it, though.
Same here.
All right, well, Brian, we're going to kick back with you again and start you with comics of 2012.
Yeah, now this one wasn't hard for me at all. This past year, due to both Marvel now and DC's New 52, I've actually been dropping titles left and right. My pull list on a monthly basis has gone from 20 down to 5 titles a month now. It's big time disappointment, but there have been a few that, far between. The one that really stands out to me had to be Mark Waid's Daredevil. I think it has to be the most refreshing Daredevil in a very long time. It's not only refreshing, it goes back to his swashbuckling roots that a lot of people are under the assumption when they hear Daredevil, all they think is Frank Miller. That's the end-all, be-all. But it's not how he started out. He did take a gritty turn at that point in time, and he's been going down that road for a while until it finally came, it went from, Miller to a bunch of other writers to where it finally got into Bendis' hand, who did an amazing job, going down even darker, revealing his identity. From there, it went to Brubaker. This is a man who's well-versed in pulp stories, and it finally came to a head at Shadowland, and then it finally came out of the dark back into the light, but not forgetting where it came from. And Waid just proves what a master storyteller he is in this series. He hasn't forgotten. This isn't a reboot. This is honoring all the past, but keeping a lot of the light, swashbuckling Daredevil that at least I grew up with there.
Yeah, I've seen it take a good push at the comic shops, too.
It's an amazing run. It really is. Like I said, it probably has to be one of the best books out there these days.
All right, Big Mike, you're up.
I have to go with, there was a lot of good books out this year for me that being newly reintroduced to comics, but, instead of going with the regular titles that most people would normally expect you to go with, I'm going to go off the beaten path and talk about The Strain. This comic is about vampires. Guillermo del Toro is involved with it, and it's actually, according to Brian, there was a pilot recorded for this for FX, and I'm looking forward to it. It's basically a story about vampires, and it kind of reminds you of Contagion, the movie Contagion, where the one vampire comes to the world or comes to United States, and next thing you know, the entire United States is infected with a vampire virus. It's an ongoing story. I don't know. I think originally it was supposed to be 7 issues. It's up to issue 9 now. I'm thinking it's supposed to go to 12, but I mean, at the popularity that it's gotten, it may go a while past that. But that's my favorite book this year.
All right, I haven't read that one either, but I've seen on the shelves.
Yeah, I didn't read the comic, but I did read the book series. I mean, Mike pretty much nailed it on the head. And, you know, in the first book, they tackle it like it is a disease. So you have the main heroes are both from the CDC, which I found kind of interesting. It's a little different from your standard vampire film. It was written, you know, like from a CDC standpoint. How would they tackle this disease?
All right, well, I'm up. My favorite comic of 2012, I've been kind of talking about this one on the back burner for a while now to people. It's the Batman Beyond Unlimited from DC. You know, in a world where our dollar isn't getting as much anymore, this book doesn't follow the $2.99 line. It's actually $3.99 through DC, but you're getting 3 stories in this book. You're getting Superman Beyond, Batman Beyond, and Justice League Beyond, all in one book. So it's kind of like a super book in a way, where you get to follow 3 stories. And the story, Batman Beyond, has been really good. Where if you watch the show, they made Batman Beyond canon a couple of years ago in the comics. And if you follow the show, you know the history between Dana and Terry, who is the new Batman. Well, all the years of Bruce Wayne, you know, Bruce Wayne's elderly in this one, and all the years of his painkillers and whatnot comes back to him, and he's hospitalized. So this is Terry working by himself, basically. And it's been a real powerful story where Dana's brothers come to town and trying to take over the Jokers and restart their terror in Gotham. So it's really been a good story. I tell people if they haven't read it to pick it up and read it. It's really, really you get 3 stories for your buck, and it's a good read.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. All right, Dave, you're up.
My favorite comic this year, I got to say, was the new Archer and Armstrong from the Valiant universe. And I attribute that a lot to the writing of Fred Van Lent. When Valiant was originally around, Archer and Armstrong was kind of a secondary book for me. I picked up occasionally. But now it's my favorite Valiant comic. The storyline is akin to, like, almost like reading an Indiana Jones adventure with these 2 guys. And it's got great writing, great story adventure, and it keeps the reader really attached to the story. And it's great to see these figures brought back, stay true to the original concept they had, but yet his writing style and the stories he's brought have just been a phenomenal read at this point.
Yeah, we've had Fred on the show a bunch of times, and he's very passionate about what he does.
Yes, he is. He's a great writer, and he's a great guy to talk to, and I'm really enjoying his writing. I know he's restarting with G.I. Joe, and I know Mike's a fan of the G.I. Joe genre, so I'll wait and see how he does with that, because G.I. Joe's never been my story, but Fred Van Lent, they were very well may pull me over to there just for his writing alone.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for the end of the Ninja era.
All right, Miss Stacy, you're up.
Okay. Well, this was another one that was hard for me. There were a lot of really good titles, especially in the indie publishers that came out this year. Things like Saga and Fatale and Mind Management. But the thing that gets me excited every month since iZombie ended, because that was really sad when it ended, is Dark Horse's Conan. The reboot that Brian Wood is writing with, well, the first arc was drawn by Becky Cloonan, and then they've had a couple more, and I think Declan Shalvey has done the last couple of issues. But it's just, it's true to the classic Conan, but it's like with a twist, because it's very epic, and for the first arc, they actually redid the Queen of the Black Coast, and it was a little different because Conan is still a barbarian, but he's not this huge muscle-bound He-Man looking guy. I mean, he's a little slimmer but still muscular, and it's just kind of a different look for Conan. And it's just a really good story, and it's kind of made me go back and read a lot of the older stuff and start picking up those back issues. So that was really the title that I look forward to every month.
So what would you think Howard's reaction would be to this new Conan?
I don't know. I know that, I don't think it's that different. It is, but it isn't. I guess it's kind of hard to explain, but I think he'd be okay with it. I don't think they're doing anything that he would say that is not true to the spirit of his original stories.
Cool. I'll have to check it out.
Especially the first arc. Definitely check that out.
All right, well, Stacy, staying on you, go with TV of 2012.
Okay, this one was really easy. And I don't think it'll come as a surprise to anybody. My favorite TV show this year was Walking Dead. It got better every week.
Big shock.
Yeah, big shock there. I can't wait for February 10th when we get to see the continuation of the season. It's a great show, and I think the true testament of it being a great show is that it is an adaptation of a comic book, and a pretty faithful one at that, even with the sort of deviations from the original comic story. But the fact that it's a comic book show that so many people watch, coworkers that I have that have never picked up a comic book in their life love this show. People who hate zombies love this show. My mom, who is not really, she got me into comics when I was younger, but she doesn't read comics now, except for when I hand her one every once in a while and say, hey, read this. But, she loves the show, and she doesn't really like zombies at all. But she watches it and is like, oh my gosh, Walking Dead is so good. So, I just think it's overall a great show. And I think with all of the TV that's out there and all the good TV that's out there, that's really the thing that if I couldn't watch any other show, that's what I would keep.
You almost had that problem, remember?
Yeah, I almost had that problem. Almost didn't get to see Walking Dead at all, but thankfully Dish worked it out.
I think we all can agree that show is just, leaps and bounds, ahead of its time, and what's giving us a good shock value and good entertainment value every week. I mean, me and my father spent a good couple of minutes talking about it over the last couple of days as well. He watches it and enjoys it too. So, I mean, it's across the board a home run for AMC.
Yeah, it's like Stacy mentioned. It's just amazing the amount of people who don't realize that this is a comic book that love this show. I know so many people who don't even realize it's a comic book. The universal appeal of this show is just phenomenal.
Most definitely. All right, Brian, you're up. Favorite TV of 2012.
All right. Don't everybody hate on me, but I got to say Arrow. I'm really enjoying the show. And this is, I know we had producer Mark Gooden on, but this show really is I forgive you now, Smallville, for screwing up Green Arrow in the first place. Thank you. This is just a great show. It takes all elements from just about every era of Green Arrow, puts it together, puts a little realistic spin on it, and yet still can reach that tween crowd that Smallville hit. So I'm just really enjoying the show. It's gritty, it's dark, it's action packed, it's fun, and then you got the constant geek nods that are in there, which are just always so great to see.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, at first I was kind of like, I was kind of iffy about it, but then after watching the previews and, being able to see the pilot, and I have good hopes for this show. And talking to Guggenheim, like we did in the show, I mean, just looking for the Easter eggs every week has been fun as well. But I mean, what's getting me is the realism of the costumes. I mean, when we first saw Deathstroke walk into that tent, I went to myself, wow. I mean, if that was a real life situation and that guy walks to a tent, I'm crapping myself. I mean, that's basically how real it looked.
Totally agree with you there. It's just, they've just really done a phenomenal job. I mean, yes, you could still see, they don't have a really full production value, but what they're working with is working very well. And my favorite had to be the last episode where they're all sitting around a table and Ollie goes, I can't stand the fact they keep calling them the Hood. And someone goes to him, well, what about calling him Green Arrow? And Ollie just goes, lame. Perfect. Just perfect.
Yeah, very well so. All right, Dave, you're up. TV of 2012.
Well, unfortunately, I have to say this will be a short one because I'm with Stacy. My favorite show this year has been The Walking Dead. I've loved it. Agree that it's a great adaptation from a comic book to the screen. And also the fact that they've also brought original stuff to the screen to make the story different, such as the introduction of Daryl as a character and Merle. Daryl, there goes a character that was never in the comic book, yet now brought to the screen, is like one of the top 2 popular characters in the show. And it still stays very true to the original story. So it has been an enjoyment to watch that week to week. And I hope it stays on for a couple more seasons and keeps the story fresh and good as it has been so far.
Agreed. All right, Mike, what about you?
Sons of Anarchy. For those of you who don't watch it, it is a motorcycle club. It's FX's take of... Dave's trying to interrupt me. He was agreeing with you. The best way to explain it is it's a motorcycle gang type of Soprano show. Basically, it tells a lot of stories about a particular gang and how they deal with everyday life and just in general, running guns, drugs, whatever it may be. There's multiple stories involved in this story. It's actually on its 5th season now, and the guy that plays, did play the lead in it, is the same guy that played Hellboy. So
Ron Perlman.
Yeah, Ron Perlman. He's a great actor, and people don't realize he was in a lot of stuff. And I remember him being his first acting gig was Beauty and the Beast with Linda Hamilton. So he's been around a long time, but he definitely fits the character, and he's just one bad apple that you got to watch the show. I mean, there's not enough words I can say to express how good it is.
Well, the cast, it's an all-star cast. Just about. I mean, you got Katie Sagal. A couple of the Soprano actresses are on there too.
Yeah, the girl that played oh God, I can't think of everybody's name now.
Adriana.
Yeah, Adriana. She's in it. Katie Sagal, Ron Perlman, the guy that played in I think it was the 3rd Resident Evil movie. He's in it. He was the guy that took off with her plane when she landed on top of the building, and he decided to take the plane and go to the ship out there. That guy's been in a lot of different stuff too, and people don't realize how many different things he's been in.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name. He's a character actor. He's been in like a ton of things.
Yeah, exactly. He's never been a lead role, but he's always been like the sidekick or something thrown in there.
Now, I like Sons of Anarchy. I watch it myself a lot, but as much as I like the story after the season 5 finale, I feel this whole story's almost kind of run its course. I don't see it going another 2 seasons. It's just, I think it's kind of gotten tiring. As much as I like the show, I think it's, like I said, I think it's kind of run its course at this point.
I disagree, because I think I agree that it's gotten to a point where you can't go much further, but you got so many different side stories you can go with. Like, let's focus on the trial of her helping the guy that turned his back on the sons, and with the mother involved in that situation. I don't want to go too deep into it because a lot of people may not have seen it yet and may not understand what I'm saying, but I mean, there's a lot of side stories you can go with. The same thing with The Sopranos. I mean, The Sopranos went, 7 seasons?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah. I mean, eventually it's going to run its course. I mean, most shows do. I mean, unfortunately, there's one that I'd like to see end, but it hasn't, like The Idol. But, I mean, you can't go on forever.
Agreed. Well, I'm up. My turn. This was actually my difficult topic to pick because I'm a TV buff as well. Me and my wife watch a lot of TV, and I had a coin toss toward the end to make this one, and I'm gonna go with Young Justice. I mean, I love the animation style. I love how they call the Timverse, just the way they're drawn. It stepped out of the shadow of being a Saturday morning kids tune to almost it should have been an Adult Swim night tune because just the severity of some of the battles and if you haven't watched it yet, spoiler alert, that one scene in Cape Canaveral when Aqualad stabs Artemis. Well, you're looking going, wow. I mean, did that just happen in a kids show? And then it turns out that there's a master plan for it. But then it goes back to the unseen episode. For those of you who know that Young Justice was on hiatus and will be coming back in January. I think January 5th? 6th. Is when it's coming back, and when it comes back, we're going to see the episode that it should have been shown in October. Some of us were able to see it online, and I'll tell you guys, when you watch this episode on the 6th, the scene where the Black Beetle gets a hold of Wonder Girl, it's just brutal, and it'll make you believe that this should be an Adult Swim. I mean, in my heart of hearts, this was definitely a really good show, and it may run its course this year. This might be the end of it after the invasion, but you know what? For what we've seen, I love the animation style.
You've seen the promo, right, for the upcoming season?
Yes.
That's just what they got coming up. Just looks very impressive too. I mean, it's what I love about this show. It just doesn't cover current comic fans, but I grew up on the old Teen Titans. I grew up on the 60s, 70s Teen Titans, and there is such a nod to those characters. I love it. I mean, the animation is like, this is the heir apparent to the Justice League cartoon, and it is just amazingly written. They don't dumb it down like a lot of other cartoons. This is strictly, adult type material, and it's just great.
Like I said, I agree 100%. I mean, just, Bruce Greenwood reprising his role as Batman. I mean, yeah, I'm a Conroy fanatic, and I believe Conroy is Batman for life, but Bruce Greenwood has done a really good job in the movies he's portrayed Batman, and reprising his role for the animated series for Young Justice. He does a really good job at it.
Totally agree.
All right. Well, we're going to flip to... Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted, before we jump to the next thing, are you sure it's the 6th? Because the 6th is a Sunday.
The 5th then, I'm sorry. But next Saturday, this upcoming Saturday is when it starts up again.
Okay. Just wanted to double check on that.
Yeah, I thought it was the 5th, so I said the 5th, yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the promo, it's up at PendragonsPost.com, as well as the promo for the new season of Green Lantern, which also is looking pretty intense.
Oh, yeah. Orange rings, what?
Yeah, and how about Carol getting her butt stomped there? What's that about?
Yeah, we'll find out. All right, we're going to go into our next topic, is our favorite toy of 2012. And I know most of our listeners are toy collectors, and this was a very broad range to pick from. But I'm going to go with Mattel's Dark Knight Rises Movie Masters Build-A-Figure Bat Signal. I mean, yes, it was a pain in the butt to connect and collect because some of the figures were not distributed properly, and that's a story for a different day. But when you get the...
Wait. Mattel not distributing correctly in a wave? Say it
Yes.
isn't so.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, many hairs you pull out of your head, as much curse words you saying when you get bid sniped or whatever it may be, when you complete this masterpiece and turn it on and shine on your wall, the joy you get from it is just uncanny. I mean, I walk into this room every day and push the button just to see it light up. I mean, this thing is to scale. I mean, just like you would see it in the movie. I mean, it wasn't abnormally huge like we think it is. It was, it's just big enough to be there. And I tell you right now, it's my favorite piece in my action figure collection. I built two of them just because I had to display the broken symbol from the Gordon Build-A-Figure. I tell you right now, it is leaps and bounds my favorite toy of 2012. If you don't have one, get one. Stacy, you're up.
Okay, mine's not going to be a surprise either for this one either, and this will make Dr. Migo very, very happy. My favorite toy of 2012 was the Diamond Select Universal Monsters 8-inch scale Creature from the Black Lagoon. This thing has retro sensibilities, but more than that, the sculpting on this thing is so beautiful. It is a work of art. Its hands and feet are insanely detailed, and its face is amazing. You can get them at Toys R Us if you don't have one and you're a monster collector or Amigo collector, or you just want a piece of art in plastic. Pick this thing up. It is amazing, and it's so much fun to photograph. It goes very well with older Migos. So that was my favorite toy this year.
Cool. Brian, you're up.
I got to go with bunch of exclusives. The Diamond Select Mini Mates Alpha Flight. I'm a big I was a huge fan of the Alpha Flights and when they first appeared, when John Burns stories. And so this consisted of two exclusive 4-packs. One was at San Diego, one was at New York Comic Con, and then there was a 2-pack exclusive for Toys R Us. And I love these little figures to begin with. I mean, these are my new favorite collectibles. Plus, for the limited amount of space I have, perfect size. So this was just great just to get all of Alpha Flight in mini form, and I don't have to go nuts saying when is the next figure going to be coming out so I can complete the team. I have the complete team.
Cool. Dave, what about you?
My favorite figure for this year had to be the Evil Dead release line, Evil Dead 2. Being an original horror fan and loving Evil Dead movies, it was really cool to see these figures come out, and the sculpts were done very well. The Hero from the Sky Ash and the Feral Arms Ash, especially when it comes with a miniature deer head from Evil Dead 2 that comes to life possessed and starts laughing at Ash. So I thought it was kooky. I loved it. And like I said, being a horror fan, it was just a very enjoyable figure to have.
All right. Big Mike.
I hate to say it, and it's mainstream toys. I was a huge fan of the 30th anniversary G.I. Joe wave that came out this year. It was tough because there was a lot of new stuff that came out this year from Hasbro and possibly Mattel and stuff, but I have to go with the 30th anniversary and Renegade series, which is the same series. They were short-lived because they were anticipating the G.I. Joe movie coming out in June, which didn't happen. But there's one in particular that I've always been a fan of, and the figure's called Airtight. And basically he's a hazard suit chemical weapons specialist. And the figure was amazing. It was well detailed, even down to the air hoses and stuff. It was just super posable. Love my posable figures. So that was my favorite this year.
All right. Well, we'll stick with you, Mike, for our final topic of the evening. What are you looking for 2013? Forward to for 2013?
The Man of Steel. Plain and simple, it looks like it's going to be a great movie. I'm hoping it'll bring back the Superman franchise to where it should be, and I'm looking forward to that movie.
Yeah, DC and Warner Bros. Have a lot riding on this one, and from the looks of the trailers, I think using Brian's words, they put a leash on Singer. So hopefully we see a good movie.
Damn Skippy.
All right, well I'll jump in. What I'm looking forward to 2013, and I'm giving this its due diligence because I think they did a good job last year, and this is the Matty Collector's DC Club Infinite Earths wave. The first couple figures we got coming out are fan demands. I mean, you got Saint Walker, you're getting Marfleece, you're getting Phantom Stranger. I'm in it for the club exclusive, the Monsieur Mala and Brain. I mean, I like completing teams, and they're doing a fairly good job of getting figures that we need. I mean, there's a lot of holes. I know Brian's chomping at the bit to jump on that one. There's a lot of holes to fill in.
Damn straight.
And I know there are, but I mean, we're getting good quality.
I will say it'll be nice to finish my satellite era Justice League, so that I'm happy about. Finally, the long-awaited Man issue got resolved.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, looking at all the figures that came out in 2012, I didn't join the sub, but I was able to get them all through various outlets. But I wasn't going to miss out in 2013. I mean, it was too good not to pass up, and to be able to continue my Teen Titans villains is one thing, and the Doom Patrol, all that stuff. I mean, just everything in general to keep finishing up. I mean, seeing the Metal Men together. I mean, people have seen the pictures on their Facebook pages. Hopefully, we get a Dr. Magnus. Probably not, but hopefully we will. All right, Brian, what are you looking forward to for 2013?
Honestly, I'm looking forward to a toy fair, but no, in all reality, I'm really looking forward to Iron Man 3. It's got a different director around this time, but from what we saw in the teaser trailer, I'm interested. I'm very much interested because it seems to take place right after the formation of the Avengers. Still not 100% sold on the way the armor looked, but I have enjoyed Downey's performance. The way he brings Tony Stark to life. There's a lot of times it doesn't seem like he's sticking to the script, which is great. It seems like he's improvising a lot of it, and I just can't wait for the next one.
I have to agree, Brian. I mean, Downey has definitely taken that character and personified him to a T. I mean, think about where Robert Downey Jr. has been. It's almost like he can, where they wrote Tony Stark. I mean, it's almost like a mirror image, and
parallels. Really,
I mean, being a DC fan, I do love what Marvel has done with the Iron Man franchise and the whole Avengers ensemble. I mean, I know none of us mentioned the Avengers in our favorites, but we all know deep down it's in our top 5.
Yeah, I would say so.
All right, Miss Stacy.
Well, I'm going to continue the movie theme, but I'm just going to say movies in general in 2013. There's a lot for me that I'm looking forward to as a literature geek. I'm really looking forward to The Great Gatsby.
Why?
Because it looks good.
Looks MTV-ish. It's just so good. It seems like DiCaprio's trying too hard to act like Redford in this. Why?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to Oz the Great and Powerful. I think it's going to be good. But
yes.
More than that, I'm excited about sequels. And you mentioned one, Iron Man 3, but the two that I'm most excited about Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yes.
I loved the first movie. I've watched it 100 times,
And
probably.
it doesn't get sickening, does it? You could keep watching
It
it.
never gets old, ever. It never gets old. I'm in love with all the characters. I love the stories. I'm not a Trek fan from way back, but it's kind of making me kind of go, there's something here. I'm also really, really, really excited about Kick-Ass 2. I loved the first one. It was a very faithful adaptation of the comic. I'm really excited to see what they do with the second one.
I can't believe they got Jim Carrey for the second one. That's going to be that could really be good.
Yeah, I'm really just excited to see Chloe Moretz as Hit Girl again, or as Mindy.
Going back to your Star Trek, I mean, how about the ending of that trailer? Very, very, very powerful there, in my opinion. I had goosebumps looking at it.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I can't wait.
All right, Big Dave.
Well, a quick movie mention. There's really one of Harpo movies because you've all hit movies pretty much. But as far as sequels, Wolverine coming out. I think everybody's looking forward to that one. But as far as my favorite figure for the next year, I'm finally happy to see Marvel Select bringing out a classic Venom. We've waited years for it. I mean, Eddie Brock has not been Venom for a few years now. And now we finally are getting a classic Venom that looks great. The Ultimate Venom Marvel Select put out years ago, in my opinion, is a horrible figure. I can't stand the way it looks. It's not really something kids can play with. It's not something you can pose very well. But the new Marvel Select Venom that's coming out, and I believe it's doing out in the next month or two, it looks great. It's got interchangeable heads. And it has that classic look from when McFarlane first put Venom on the page. And I can't wait to see that figure come out.
Yeah, we've actually had a lot of pre-orders for that at the shop. I mean, definitely. I think the heads sold that one. So, all right, well, guys, this is our best of list for 2012. Oh, what's up?
I wanna bring it to everybody's attention. If you're a comic book reader, really watch out for the comic Revival. It is a new twist on. I don't want to call it a zombie book because they're not actually zombies, but people coming back to life and actually functioning like normal humans. Keep an eye on this book because I think it's going to be hot next year.
Who's the publisher?
Crap.
I think it's Image, isn't it?
I think so.
I think it's
I
Image.
think you're right.
And
It's Image.
Give me 2 seconds. I'll tell you in 2 seconds because I think I have a copy of it. Hold on.
From the way Mike just described it, kind of looks like, sounds like that movie that's coming out that I can't wait. It's that zombie love film, love story that's coming out. Was it Warm Bodies?
Oh, yeah.
Or Warm Blooded or something like that?
Warm Bodies, I think it's called. It's based on a book, but it looks silly. It seems like kind of up there like Shaun of the, well, not on Shaun of the Dead level, but, a lighter look at things. So I'm kind of curious about that one. That piqued my curiosity.
I saw a trailer for it. The trailer, I gotta say, made me laugh. It looks very enjoyable film.
I just love the inner voice and the way he thinks he nailed it. Just like, say something to her. Nailed it.
Sorry for being ill prepared. It is Image Comics.
Cool. I'll have to check it out.
And it's Mike Norton and Tim Seeley. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, those two are teaming up on a comic?
Yeah. Yeah. I've only read the first issue, but Mike's right. It is really good.
Oh, so Seeley's one of these underrated guys in the comic industry. God, Hollywood keeps talking about making a hack/movie, and I wish they would already because I really see it selling.
Yeah, this series is really, really good. It's up to the 5th book now. It's definitely worth the read.
Cool. I'll look into it.
Yeah, definitely check it out.
All right, guys. Well, like I said, this is our list. If we'd like to hear from y'all, if you want to comment on our Facebook page or our Twitter page or whatever Pendragons post, I mean, give us a little shout out of what you think about our list. If you agree, disagree, we'd like to hear from you more. And for the next show, I think we're probably going to tackle the elephant in the room on our next show, which will be the Amazing Spider-Man 700. It's a story for a different day. You know, as far as our next couple of shows goes, look forward for a good year from us because in the tubes coming out, we got some good guests coming for y'all, and so you know, stay tuned, and we thank y'all for being with us for the episodes we put out, and you know, we really appreciate the listen and it's taking an hour or so every week with us, and we appreciate y'all. And from me and the rest of the us here, four guys, a girl on the show. Happy New Year, and be safe, guys. Don't drink and drive. You know, don't be dumb. Take a cab or get a DD or stay home or whatever you gotta do. Just see us next year. Make it through it. Anybody have anything closing?
Happy New Year, all.
I'd like to thank all our Facebook fans. If it wasn't for you guys, we probably wouldn't be here. Thanks for listening.
Absolutely. Everybody have a good New Year, and hope to hear more of you and hear more of us come next year.
All right, guys. Well, for Dave, Brian, Stacy, and Mike, this is JQ. Happy New Year. Take care.